A very good afternoon. Can you hear us in Havana? Can we just stand up and allow the minister? Thank you very much, Your Excellencies. We have been joined by Her Excellency Minister Sisulu and Her Excellency, our Deputy Ambassador. She's here, and in Havana, we're joined by the President of the Institute. And I'll request that we just observe a moment of silence while we are just still standing. We are actually observing a moment of silence to convey our condolences and salute all those patriots around the globe who have perished on the question of coronavirus, COVID-19, especially those frontline staff who have perished in the cause of duty. Equally also wishing those that are actually infected by the virus a speedy recovery. Let's give our moment of silence. Thank you. You can do a small prayer or meditation depending what you choose to do. Thank you very much, Your Excellencies. We can be seated. My name is David Mahlobo. I'm the Deputy Minister for Water and Sanitation. I've been asked by Her Excellency Minister Sisulu, Minister of Human Settlement, Water and Sanitation in the Republic of South Africa, to assist to facilitate the program for the day. And as I was saying earlier on, we are about to start. Before we can get some indications about the protocols that we need to follow just for issues of health and safety, or the induction on the venue. A program has been circulated. We're joined virtually by our friends and comrades currently in Havana right now, led by His Excellency, the President of the National Institute of Hydraulic Resources, Comrade Antonio Rodriguez, that and the entire delegation that is there. Your Excellencies, let me take this opportunity to welcome Your Excellency Minister Sisulu, Minister of Human Settlement, Water and Sanitation. Your Excellency, on the virtual platform, Comrade President Antonio Rodriguez, President of National Institute of Hydraulic Resources. Your Excellency, Comrade Vladimir Matos Moya, the first Vice President of the Institute. Your Excellency, our Ambassador, Comrade Chopin Lingley, our Ambassador to Cuba, and the staff in the embassy. Your Excellency, our Deputy Ambassador here, that is with our Minister, Comrade Rebecca Hernandez, our Cuban Ambassador in South Africa, and the staff at the embassy. The Acting Director General of the Department of Water and Sanitation, Mayor Deborah Muchotli, the heads of water sectors that are here, the advisors to Minister Sisulu, Comrade Simelane and Yegen, executive managers of the Department of Water and Sanitation and official, the departmental official, especially the Department of Health, and International Relations and Cooperation. Our special guest, the most important people that are here, our brothers and sisters and comrades, the brigades, the Cuban engineers that the minister is receiving today. Ladies and gentlemen, on behalf of His Excellency, our President, and the people of the Republic, we wish to welcome you at this welcoming ceremony by Her Excellency, Minister Sisulu, the Minister of Human Settlement, Water and Sanitation. We enjoy strong relationship with the people of Cuba, not only during this democratic dispensation. The Cuban people have been with us side by side during our struggle for freedom and liberation, and we shared very profound memories, including sharing the ultimate premium, which was death in the trenches in the struggle for the liberation of the people of this country, and more importantly, of our region. Today, our Minister Sisulu, will be welcoming a number of Cuban engineers and experts who are here on the basis of the Memorandum of Understanding that has been signed by Her Excellency the Minister and the representative of the government of the Republic of Cuba on the cooperation in the water space, especially on the question of water resources and water supply. And we're very pleased when this agreement, Minister, you signed with the ambassador last year in February. And this is a culmination of the implementation of that memorandum. We know that it involves the secondment of the Cuban experts to support the people of the Republic in an area of their deployment. As I indicated earlier on, Your Excellencies, we are holding this hybrid welcoming launch wherein the president of the institute, Comrade Rodriguez, and the team, they are joining your minister already today in Havana. It's an early morning, but they decided because of the importance and the significance of this event that they can't miss this opportunity in the new normal to hand over our brothers and sisters that are coming in to lend a hand in South Africa. Let me take this opportunity to recognize the people that have joined you. I've already indicated Her Excellency, our minister, is in the house. She'll be the one that is going to give us a keynote address. Unfortunately, His Excellency, our ambassador today, couldn't join us, but Her Excellency, the Deputy Ambassador, Comrade Rebecca Hernandez, she's here today and standing in for Ambassador Comrade Verson, and the team from the embassy is here. We have our special guests, they are here. They will be properly welcomed by our minister, the engineers that we've spoken about, that are coming in to support the Republic of South Africa and the sector as a whole. We are also having the representative from the Department of Cooperative Governance and Traditional Affairs, especially the CEO of the Municipal Infrastructure Support Agency, Mr. Vimba. And we have said there's a team from the Cuban Embassy here at home. We also have the special guest of the minister, Comrade Andile Yagam, is one of our young engineers that have actually participated and they've all benefited in the program. We are also having scientists that have also benefited, Minister, because this program is not starting today. Our relationship beyond the trenches, it was cemented by our forebearers and our first democratic president, President Nelson Mandela, with His Excellency President Fidel Castro, when they signed the relationship between our two countries and people. We have those that have benefited. We are joined by Pali Samuhajane Shizie, Gladys Mansindi, and Asanda Duguza. We also have indicated that the representative from the Department of DECO, they are here. The Department of Health, they are always keeping an eye on us to ensure that we remain healthy and we observe the protocols. I've indicated the advisors, As I've said, we also have been joined by our friends and comrades in Havana in Cuba right now. They are led by His Excellency, as I've said, Comrade Antonio Rodriguez, and also joined by the first Vice President, Comrade Vladimir Tosa Moya. And we also have our own ambassador, who has also joined us, Comrade Shop, Lindy. We miss you at home. We want to say thank you very much, leadership, with the team that has joined you from our embassy. We also have Femin Quantinala, the Director of International Relations in the Institute. These are all the people, Minister, that are very fundamental to the program that you entered into. We also have Alexandra Morira, the President of GIAT. We also have Manuel Garcia, the Director General of Cuba Hydraulica. We also have Giselle Wong from Cuba Hydraulica, the Director for Export. We also have Sergio Mo, the Director of Africa and Middle East, MINSEC. We are looking forward to a fruitful deliberations today and the signing of a joint communique between the two governments, which will go a long way in cementing our relationship and the bonds that exist amongst our people. With those words, once again, on behalf of the Minister and our President and our people, just feel welcome to your second home. Thank you. At this point, I'm going to request those who are dealing with the induction of the venue so that we meet our protocol issues, just to come and highlight what are the things that we should do and the things that we're not supposed to do. Lastly, Minister, our most important guest, we also have the members of the media here so that they can communicate with the people of the Republic and beyond of this good work and the relationship we enjoy. Let me allow the team that is hosting us here to indicate the do's and don'ts about the venue here. I thank you.
Good afternoon, everyone. I just want to give you all a very, very warm welcome here at Diepenibach. We're so pleased to have you here with us today. Just a very quick safety and COVID briefing from our side. We do have our ER24 medics on site today, so if anyone has any medical emergency, please let us know immediately and they will assist you. They are based in the venue right next to reception, so they are on site all day. In the event of an evacuation, you will be notified immediately. Please make yourself familiar with your exit points of the venue. If you exit out the back, you'll make your way down the stairs at the back of the venue, otherwise out the front, and our staff will direct you to the assembly point in the parking lot. Alternatively, if you're in any other venue on the property, your assembly point is the grass area at the front. With regards to COVID, I'm sure you're all familiar with the procedures by now. We have sanitizer stations throughout all our venues. Please make use of them throughout the day. Please maintain social distancing as far as possible and keep your masks on at all time, covering both your mouth and your nose for the protection of everyone. When it comes to the service of lunch, we will have 2 stations available, but we will be calling table for table, so please don't all rush up and join a long queue. Sanitize before taking your plates, and the staff at Diepenibach will be serving for you, so no one will be touching the utensils. That's all from our side. We hope you have a wonderful afternoon, and we look forward to hosting you again soon.
Well, thank you very much. I hope all of you now you remember what she said about safety precautions. It's normally before the flight can take off. It's a requirement. But we've been assured that there is no emergency that we could experience unless something is unforeseen. We'll proceed with our program. At this stage, Minister will want to take an opportunity to request the Deputy Director General in the Department for International Water Support, Ms. Lindwe Lusenga, just to come briefly to share with us the overview of Republic of South Africa-Cuba relations in the water sector. At this stage, Sis Lindy, you can come and share with the delegation both here and also our friends abroad. Thank you. Okay. I'm told there's a small change. They say the acting DDG for infrastructure, because the team must work in the infrastructure environment, Minister. The person that will ensure that the people are on the ground, they are at their workstation and properly deployed, and they are making a difference. Leonard Omanas will come briefly just to share this specific relationship between our two countries in this space. Thank you.
Minister, Deputy Minister, Deputy Ambassador, Acting DG, and all the colleagues, all protocol observed. For those who are also across the Atlantic Ocean in Cuba, you all are greeted. I just want to remind you, this is not a funeral, because I see it's a little bit dull. It's actually a celebration as far as what we are here about today in terms of welcoming our colleagues from Cuba to actually assist us in South Africa. My duty here today is coming from a technical perspective, giving you some overview in terms of what has happened so far in South Africa as far as our Cuban collaboration is concerned in the technical space. Now I'll be short, but I'll go far back. I'll go far back as the early 2000s when I was a young upstart also in the department. There was a young lady working in the Northern Cape, and she was responsible for the implementation of the water as well as the sanitation programs. Now, as you know, that the Northern Cape is the largest province in the country, but it's also the province with the fewest people, with the least people in the country. So it actually means that the Northern Cape always gets the smallest budget. And this lady, as the engineer, was responsible for this implementation of this project, and she wanted to complain about the fact that all the reasons as to why she needed more money to actually get a job done. But there was a Cuban engineer that was a Cuban specialist appointed at national office, part of that delegation that came, and she's in the meeting today, even though she's across the mountain, across the ocean. I see her sitting right in the corner there, Giselle Perez, and she was there as well in terms of giving mentorship to that young engineer, telling her, don't complain about not having all the resources, don't complain about not having all the budget. Just get the job done by applying your project management skills as you're required to do it. That lady went on to do a master's in project management, and today is quite doing well as far as her career is concerned. But she then, I don't know if I should thank you, Giselle, for that, but she took on one of her biggest projects in life, and she made me her project, so she got married to me, and we are still getting the job done as far as that part is concerned. So thanks, Giselle, for that part. Further along the line, they asked me in the department to come to Pretoria and to start up the regulation unit in the department. Then something very bad happened in the country. As far as Delmas is concerned, a little town in Mpumalanga, there was a typhoid outbreak, and a few people passed away. And what then happened was that, unfortunately, as you know how it goes, people started asking who's to blame, whose fault it was. And Minister Sonjika at that point in time came to the site, and she asked me, how are we going to deal with this? As she was visiting the site with the then Minister of Health, the late Minister Mantu Chabalala. And I said, Minister, we have two people here that's assisting us coming from Cuba. And they are assisting us, and we are focusing at this point in time to get the water safe again. We're not going to focus much in terms of who's to blame at this point in time, but we need to make the water safe for the people. One gentleman in this room, Alberto, if you can just raise that, Minister can see you. There he is, as far as Alberto is concerned. Alberto was one of those people. Thank you, sir. He was one of those two engineers that actually assisted us there. And they told us the one thing that we're going to do at this point in time, actually Elias Nkuna was my assistant engineer at that point in time, and he told me, don't worry, these two guys, I think they know what they're doing, what they're talking about. Because they started talking about the optimization of disinfection processes, not in terms of only putting the dosage at the end of the water treatment works, but actually to go further, because at that point we have identified that it was multiple boreholes what was actually contaminated in that area. They did it. At the end of the day, I looked at these two gentlemen after a while, and they started continuing actually assisting us with the development of the drinking water quality regulation program in the country, as they gave input into my little brain at that point in time as to how this should take forward. Eventually it became quite a successful program, but before they went home back to Cuba, I asked them, what can I do for you? Now, Minister, not all of us are perhaps privileged to come from the most beautiful place in the world, but I am. So they asked me, can we go to your place of birth, which is Cape Town? And that's all they wanted. Now, I don't want to sound like a president that recently became no more president anymore, but he said, what is it in for them? But we understood that these people are here to serve. There's a gentleman working in my office currently, Mr. Vega, who's sitting over there. And Mr. Vega, every time that we ask him to actually do something, then he says to me, we are ready to serve. And that is the attitude and the spirit that we've experienced with our Cuban colleagues thus far, that they are ready to serve wherever they go and to get the job done. And in closing, Deputy Minister, I just wanted to say that I had the greatest opportunity or privilege in my life to actually experience it for myself, to see how Cuban engineers function in their own environment. I will never forget the experience when I went to a water treatment works in Havana. And that water treatment works, I was told, it was built before the 1900 year. I think it was commissioned in 1897 or something like that. But it was still in pristine condition, and it was still operating as it's supposed to be. In the corner, there was a little frog that was made of concrete, and it was spewing water out. And I looked at this, and I thought, this is just a water feature. They told us, no, that's not only a water feature, but it's an indicator whether the systems are running as it's supposed to be, because if that frog is not spitting water, it means that the system is not running. Simple things that kept infrastructure going. And the one thing that I wish I could actually influence, and that would be to say that all young engineers in South Africa and even the world should actually have that exposure to understand that even though you don't have enough budget or enough resources, you don't have to make your mark through the elaborate designs of elaborate structures or machines or etc. But currently, we need to change attitude towards maintenance and keep what we have in a working order, keep what we are doing in a working condition, something we can learn from our colleagues from Cuba, because they do that with a duty to serve and to get things done. Ladies and gentlemen, I thank you.
Thank you very much from the Acting Deputy Director General for Infrastructure in the Department of Water and Sanitation, including the Affirmation Minister, that the program is coming from far, and we hope those that have rubbed shoulders or interacted with our Cuban counterparts, they've taken the virtue of solidarity, including the virtue to serve. At this stage, Minister and the President, we've reached a point where we are going to request Her Excellency, our Ambassador Tanika Shopelin, to give us a message of support, especially on the good work they've been doing. It has actually culminated to this event today, where our Minister is formally receiving our Cuban experts and comrades. Let's head over to Her Excellency, our Ambassador, to be able to give us those words of support. She is connected virtually in Havana with the delegation with President Rodriguez. Thank you. Thank you very much, Your Excellency, our Ambassador, for those warm words of encouragement and support, and our international solidarity with the people of Cuba, and including our own fervent call that those unilateral embargo that is imposed on the Cuban people must come to an end. Thank you very much, Comrade Ambassador. Minister, Deputy Ambassador, President and Ambassador, we've reached a stage now because our relationship has been over more than 2 decades. We wanted to actually share some experiences of some of the people that have undergone through this program. There are those doomsayers who think the program is today. We've been together over time and we've benefited a lot. And as part of actually empowering our people to be their own self-liberators, there are those that have actually been empowered and they've got knowledge and the skills that they are serving our country selflessly so, and they are making a difference, especially in the space of water, which is the most precious resource ever on earth, because water is life. Without water, you can't live, while sanitation is dignity. We will be sharing the experience from the previous cohort of Cuban water experts. We will request that Mr. Ramon Logat should be in a position to come. He was earlier on introduced working with the acting DDG to share their experiences. Comrade Logat, you can come and share with the Minister, our Deputy Ambassador, the President of the Institute, and our Ambassador already in Cuba to share what have we done. Thank you.
Your Excellency, Ms. Mendigo Sisulu, Minister of Human Settlement, Water and Sanitation of South Africa. His Excellency, Mr. Antonio Rodriguez, Minister President of National Institute of Hydraulic Resources of Cuba. Your Excellency, Ms. Taninga Shoub, South African Ambassador in Cuba. Your Excellency, Ms. Rebecca Hernandez, Minister Consular of Cuban Embassy in South Africa. South African and Cuban sisters and brothers, comrades. Bilateral cooperation in the field of water resources management and water supply between the government of South Africa, Department of Water and Sanitation, and Cuba, National Institute of Hydraulic Resources, began in 2002 with the arrival of first group of the 9 Cuban engineering specialists in hydraulic engineering. Since that year, this collaboration has remained relatively stable today, with the participation of 5 groups of Cuban engineers from the department, our department, the National Institute of Hydraulic Resources. Among them, electrical, civil, hydraulical, mechanical, among others, being the most fruitful, wide, diversified, and complete stage they comprise between 2015 until today, where we have been working together, not replacing, with our colleagues, South African engineers from the Department of Water and Sanitation, from February 2015 to March 19, with 25 Cuban engineers. And the other group who began our work in the Department of Water and Sanitation last August 2020, for a period of 3 years until August 2023 at Chandaba, for 2-year mark if the Department of Water and Sanitation of South Africa need. Throughout this period, Cuban engineers, we have worked and shared experience in both directions in the most dissimilar tasks of hydraulic engineering, from the control to the construction of hydraulic work, through the lifting and updating the existing hydraulic infrastructure, passing through the control of the operation, exploitation, and maintenance with satisfactory results from the both parties, which is a true example of South-South cooperation. During these almost 20 years of collaboration between the Department of Water and Sanitation of South Africa and the National Institute of Hydraulic Resources of Cuba, we, the Cuban specialists in the management of hydraulic resource and water supply, we have been working together with the South African colleagues in the 9 provinces of South Africa, in the different clusters, area offices, regional and provincial offices of the Department of Water and Sanitation in this vast country. Finally, on behalf of the 25 colleagues in this group that will be complete next week with 2 more, I want committing ourselves to work with seriousness and professionalism and delivering our best experiences, supporting and learning together our South African colleagues from our department. I said our Department of Water and Sanitation of South Africa. I must, in all this year, we are not colleagues. We are sister and brother. Like my brother, Mr. Leonardo, my sister, Lisenga, my sister Rafilo, my sister Morip, my brother Monene, are a long list of South African colleagues, all of them, most of them present here, others in the different provinces and region clusters. And I only said, thank you, colleague. Thank you, sister. Thank you, brothers.
Thank you very much to our brother, Comrade Lockhart, by sharing the experiences and how far we've come. Your Excellencies, we have reached a stage where Minister and the President, our comrade Minister in Cuba, we want to do the introduction of the deployed Cuban water experts that are here, so that, Minister, you can be able to put next to a name, you can have some understanding who are these people that have been deployed in our country to come and continue to contribute as they've contributed immensely. At this stage, I'm going to request Comrade Lazaro Martinez Gonzalez to come and do the introduction of the Cuban water experts that are deployed here.
Dear Minister of Human Settlements, Water and Sanitation of South Africa, Honorable Lindiwe Sisulu. Dear President of the National Institute of Hydraulic Resources of Cuba, Comrade Antonio Rodriguez Rodriguez. Dear Ambassador of South Africa in Cuba, Her Excellency Taninga Shop. Dear Minister Consular Embassy Cuba in South Africa, Her Excellency Rebecca Hernandez. Dear South African and Cuban colleagues, In August of last year, our brigade, made up of 23 specialists, arrived in Mandela's homeland. Many efforts were made by both ministries and governments to ensure that despite the complex pandemic situation as a result of the COVID-19 at the planetary level, we could come to start the practical implementation and the cooperation agreement signed in February 2020 by South Africa and Cuba. We want to ratify in this important meeting, on behalf of all the Cuban collaborators who were designed to fulfill such an honorable mission, our commitment could carry it out successfully with the dedication and humility that characterizes Cuban internationalism, putting all our efforts and knowledge in each task entrusted to use by the Department of Water and Sanitation in the provinces where we have been deployed. We are fully committed to assist with our experience to this sister nation to ensure the rational and productive use of water at service of the South African people. We are also committed to assist with capacity building through the training and support of local staff to ensure that our brothers and sisters from South Africa acquire as much skills as possible and be well prepared to address and solve all kinds of water challenges. We will strictly comply and respect all norms and regulations of our host country. Our group will be an example of discipline and professionalism. We will always act in accordance with the values that characterize of humanist and internationalism formation to selflessly help other peoples. Our best payment will always be to receive the gratitude of the South African people. These are times of more brotherhood, more humanity, and more solidarity. We will never forget that Cubans carry African blood. This is land of our ancestors, and our South African brothers and sisters are part of our own families. To conclude, allow me, on behalf of our group of specialists and our families back in Cuba, to thank you, Minister Sisulu, and the staff of the Department of Water and Sanitation for the warm hospitality, generosity, and exquisite attention we have received since our arrival. This beautiful ceremony is another example of that. We also thank the people and government of South Africa for allowing us to fulfill this beautiful task. We will not disappoint you. We'll be always faithful to the ideas and legacies of our heroes, Nelson Mandela and Fidel Castro. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much with that introduction. And please, IT, don't cut us off. We're still one family. At this point, we're trying to catch up with time. There is going to be the presentation of candidate scientists from the Republic of South Africa that have been chosen so that they can be party to benefit. I'll allow Mr. Vincent Munene to come and quickly introduce our candidate scientist.
Minister, Deputy Minister, Deputy Ambassador, I think earlier on the Deputy Minister indicated, or actually it was Lindiwe and also Leonardo indicated, you know, the work that the Cuban Brigade did, the first group and the second group. And during their interaction with, you know, our young scientists here and young engineers, they impacted on their lives. So here we have the two ladies who were impacted heavily by one of our engineers who was in the previous group, Arturo. So I'm going to ask Gladness and Palisa to come and share and reflect on their experiences. When Arturo came here, they were just young scientists who were candidate scientists then. And then they interacted with Arturo. And today as we speak, they are professionally registered national scientists. So they are here to give a reflection and to share with us their experiences. Palisa and Gladness, I'm going to ask you to come in front and give us your reflection and experience of working with Arturo. Let's give them a hand.
Good afternoon, Minister, Deputy Minister, the Ambassador and the Deputy Ambassador, and our brothers and sisters seated here today. My name is Balisa Mohajane. I joined the Department of Water and Sanitation in 2015, straight from university, had no practical experience whatsoever. Upon my arrival at the department, I was allocated a mentor. Her name was Irene Humanisdosol. You forgot her, Dr. Vincent. Okay, that was my mentor name. So what happened was, we spent 3 years together, so from 2015 to 2018, when she went back. We spent 3 years together. At first, it was very challenging because there was the language barrier. She spoke Spanish, I spoke English, and other African languages, so it was a bit very difficult. But eventually, we found each other with the help of Google Translate, of course. Under her mentorship, my profession grew by leaps and bounds because I gained practical experience in hydrochemistry, geographic information systems, data collection, data management, and all those acquired skills contributed to me registering as a professional scientist 3 years later. I'm privileged to have been part of that mentorship program. It has benefited my career development immensely. I therefore recommend, if I'm allowed to do so, that this program be sustained for many years to come, and so that it benefits other young scientists that join the department. Lastly, but not least, I also commend my mentor for her patience, guidance, and unwavering support throughout those years that she mentored me. Thank you.
Good afternoon. Hola. Dumacheroni. Dumelang. We should show that we are a multi-language country, and we are also willing to learn other languages from Cuba, as we all know that they speak Spanish. My name is Gladness Masindi, and I'm very privileged to be standing on this platform right now. I joined the department in the February of 2010, tiny, straight from varsity, inexperience whatsoever, with just a degree, didn't know anything. I came through the Learning Academy, And, you know, like the department has invested so much. And in the year 2015, they brought in the Cuban specialists, you know, and in South Africa, people felt like, no, why are you bringing engineers? We have engineers in the country, you know, but they didn't, you know, for someone who is in the program, who was participating in the program or is a product of the program, I can attest now that no Cuban came in South Africa to take anybody's job. They came here to empower us. Having been here 11 years, you know, and having been assigned a mentor, my mentor was Arturo Ferraz, and I was assigned someone who at the time had more than 15 years experience as a geophysicist. I'm a geohydrologist by qualification. I've never, in all my years in the department or through my interactions with the private sector, have worked directly with a geophysicist. And to have someone assigned directly to you, you know, under his wing, I learned a lot. You know, like in 2011, I did geohydrology. I came back, and then being assigned Arturo, he taught me a lot. In school, yes, you learn, they teach you GIS, basic GIS, but then to have someone who says, Gladness, this is how we do it. You know, he taught me mapping, he taught me data analysis, he taught me data management, but he taught me diligence, integrity. I think most of the colleagues here, they know Mr. Ferraz. He takes his work very seriously. So when he came here, we were trying to, like my colleague has said, we're trying to find each other with the language barrier. But I want to say now to the group that is joining us, South Africa has 11 official languages. And I don't know where you will be stationed, but have that open mind. Be willing to learn. When Mr. Ferraz left here, he was able to say Dumelang. You know, he'd always ask me, what is he saying? What is she saying? Why is she doing that? And then I would explain. And he'd also tell me, I'd ask, why is it like so? And he'd explain to me. So I want to say that with the mentorship, usually the mentor is more senior than the mentee. But let's not allow that to be a barrier. You know, let's have that open channel of you learn, I learn from you. We teach each other. That is why I'm here today. I've learned from Mr. Arturo, and his work was very admirable. His work etiquette. If I didn't do something, I knew that I would have to, even if it means not sleeping, but as long as by the next day, if we're going somewhere, that work was done. So having said that, I'm very thankful that when I came here, I came as a graduate. I was a candidate scientist. I registered professionally with the scientific body so that I can be professionally registered and be employed by the department. So no Cuban came here to take my job, but to empower me. Now I can stand in front of the honorable minister, deputy ministers, and in front of all these professionals and, you know, principals. That is the confidence. That is what I gained through the system. And I would like to thank our organization, the department, and I would like to also thank the Cuban Water Ministry for this project. And I wish that it doesn't end here. The ambassador has already said that they started in 2002, 2015 was more successful. Let 2021 going forward be more successful, and then let's learn from each other. You know, there's so much that we can learn, and we thank you for traveling all the way here through COVID. But yeah, we are very thankful. I thank you.
Is that the kind of a round of applause you can give? And I could see the problem is with men. You are very scared that these ladies are professionals and they are taking their rightful place in a space that was traditionally reserved for you guys. the water is in safe hands when it's run by ladies. And we want to thank you very much, Comrade Vint, for introducing Palisa and ladies to share their experiences. And those who have eyes and ears, they could see this solidarity and this partnership is growing from leaps and bounds. It's changing the lives of our people. Traditionally, black people were not allowed to be scientists, let alone studying maths and science, let alone that they can go to the field in a space that is about life, which is water. These ladies, there are a number of them and other young men and women, especially those who were disadvantaged by apartheid, that they are good ambassadors, that this program works, this program will continue to work. At this stage, Minister, Deputy Ambassador, Comrade President, and Ambassador Chopelin, we have reached a stage where this work will never happen until it happens in a local space. We all live in one locality or the other. There are municipalities, Minister, that are beneficiaries of the work of this relationship. One municipality that has been chosen to come and give a message of support as part of those that have benefited in the past is our nearest municipality here in the Northwest, Madibeng local municipality. I'm not sure whether His Excellency the Mayor that has been assigned to come and have a word or two. If I can get a sense. Well, Minister, our friends, because of changes in the leadership last week, they are still cycling, but the municipality here in the Northwest, Madibeng, is one of the beneficiaries, other municipalities in Free State. And I will lobby you, Minister, that they still have to benefit. They have challenges. I know that we have deployed people there to help. Because apart from their problems, but mostly their problems are coming from here in Gauteng, where we pump millions and millions of partially treated water to them. At this stage, Your Excellencies, I want to take this opportunity to request the minister's counterpart to give an address, His Excellency, the President of Cuba Hydraulic Institute, Minister Comrade Antonio Rodriguez is connected virtually. Your Excellency, Comrade Minister, President, please address us. Minister Sisulu, Comrade Sisulu is listening with the Deputy Comrade Ambassador, Comrade Rebecca Hernandez, and we want to receive those words from yourselves in Havana and the people of Cuba. I thank you.
Your Excellency, Minister and Ma'am Linguist Zulu and your delegation from the Department of Water and Sanitation from South Africa. Your Excellency, Ambassador of South Africa to Cuba, Ma'am Taninga Shopelini, your Ambassador for Benitez, South Africa, dear comrades and sisters from the Cuban Institute of Water Resources and from the our conglomerate for the management of inland waters, dear Cuban engineers who are cooperating with our brothers and sisters in South Africa, comrades and sisters. On April the 16th and 19th, we have experienced with a profound emotion and responsibility the historic 8th Congress of the Communist Party of Cuba. That's the Congress of Unity and Continuity to attend this conference. Congress as a delegate. This Congress ratified the irrevocable nature of socialist nature of our revolution and our determination to continue to fight for the just causes of the peoples around the world under the principles of solidarity, internationalism, and international cooperation. On April the 19th, we marked 60 years of our victory in Bay of Pigs, when the nascent Revolutionary Army, in conjunction with our militia, first defeat on imperialism in Latin America, in commemoration of the event in which South Africans were killed by apartheid, the historic victory of Quito Valley, and subsequently 1994, when most they vote for the first time in democratic elections. I also remember with joy that last April 5, we marked the 19th anniversary of the arrival in South Africa of the first group of Cuban water engineers who paved the way for this fruitful cooperation. Ever since 80 Cuban engineers have been deployed in South Africa, including 12 who have repeated their stay there in different groups. So for these reasons, let me invite you to engage in a as we mark together the 20th anniversary of the start of our cooperation, which represents a true example of South-South cooperation. Definitely, as a result of the impact of the current COVID-19 hit particularly hard. During this period, the United States government intensified its blockade by the imposition of over 200 new unilateral measures against our country. However, Cuba has expanded its international cooperation, particularly with the deployment of numerous medical brigades that have helped to fight the pandemic in Africa, Latin America. Situation, the National Institute of Water Resources has immediately responded positively to a request to send to South Africa 25 of its best professionals in support of urgent projects for the purpose of improving in the midst of the fight against the COVID-19 in Cuba. And our water indicators, in particular, our drinking water and sanitation services in the midst of the COVID-19 represent. In this respect, drinking water has been supplied to hospitals, isolation facilities, and other healthcare institutions, as well as to food and medicine production facilities. Actions are also being implemented in order to mitigate the effects of droughts, in particular in Havana, where its main watersheds have seen a drop in the levels and the volumes of water deliveries have been impacted adversely. At the same time, capital projects are being implemented in the water and drinking water and sanitation systems for the biotech industry, the research centers of which are involved in various vaccine projects. Five of them, two of which are in phase 3 of clinical trials. Dear Minister, the development of water awareness in Cuba is a result of the work of the revolution led by our Commander-in-Chief Fidel Castro, who implemented important actions that are representing the foundations of the actions being implemented in Cuba for adaptation to climate change. An integrated water management system represents a strategy given the state of water resources worldwide, regionally, nationally, and locally. The realities and forecasts that have been developed by prestigious institutions indicate. So water is at the center of, human survival, and it represents an indispensable resource for sustainable development and eradication of poverty and hunger. The UN data are not encouraging. At present, 2.2 billion people live in the world without access to drinking water. Close to 1 billion children have no access to sanitation services, and more than 3.5 million people are being killed every year as a result of waterborne diseases. In order to change these realities, international cooperation is not only necessary but also indispensable. The Number 6, Sustainable Development Objective of the United Nations, which alludes to the need for availability of unsustainable water resources and sanitation, places salt in front of targets for the access to water and sanitation. In order to satisfy this objective, it is indispensable that the government responsibility as well as solid international cooperation, such as the South-South cooperation. Cuban Constitution recognizes the right to access to water and sanitation supplemented by public policies and the inland water law. With our institutions and resources and valuable Cuba is moving towards the implementation of a national socio-economic development plan, which includes a comprehensive plan for the water development for the implementation of sustainable development objectives. This represents an inclusive a program which has public participation. This has allowed for the implementation of 2 targets of the 2030 UN agenda, which are the result that the degree of implementation of the management of the water resources and the rate of local administrative units and operations for the participation of communities. And 95% of the Cuban population has access to improve their water resources. However, 54% of the Cuban population receives drinking water services managed without risks. The rate of water body of good quality 60%. However, the rate of to 40%. These indicators may be better. The main as being the criminal and illegal economic, commercial, and financial blockade imposed by the U.S. government against Cuba for more than 60 years. This blockade limits and impedes Cuba's access to financing and vital resources. The U.S. blockade has reached unprecedented levels during the Trump administration. In contribution to the progress made by Cuba in the water field with the participation of universities and research centers, including the leading role being played by young people. The minister, Cuba has national skills created in the water resources. We have the competent human resources, as well as industrial capacities in high-density polyethylene technologies and other technologies in order to address the challenges posed by the 2030 agenda. These capacities also help us make an effective contribution to international community. From the viewpoint of our National Institute of Water Resources, perhaps the greatest success from this meeting may be an expansion of our bilateral cooperation in this area with the introduction of new ways of implementation and the participation of new Cuban and South African actors with capacities to become engaged in efficient water management both in South Africa and Cuba. At the core of the Cuba-South Africa cooperation in the area of water and sanitation, we will always have the capacity of local people. The transfer of experiences, expertise, knowledge, and abilities by the Cuban experts to their South African colleagues will always be secured. When the Cuban engineers complete their mission there, they will leave in their sister nation, duly prepared stamp in order to address the challenges posed by water and sanitation. Let me convey to you our Cuban experience, and let me reiterate our commitment to continue to work with you, and reiterate our commitment to not only maintain but also expand and diversify our cooperation with the South African people. Finally, let me salute our dear engineers, and let me invite them to continue to work seriously, professionalism, and let them deliver the best of yourselves, so and colleagues, in the benefit of our beloved people.
Thank you very much, Comrade Antonio Rodriguez, the president of the Cuban Hydraulic Institute. We have reached a stage now that our host and Her Excellency, the Minister of Human Settlement, Water and Sanitation, she will come and formally address us and also receive our Cuban compatriots and experts in the water field. Let's give our minister a round of applause to come and address us.
Thank you very much, Program Director. Your Excellency Antonio Rodriguez, President of the National Institute of Hydraulic Resources, I greet you. I recognize also our Ambassador, Your Excellency Taninga Shope, our dear sister and Ambassador, our representative in Cuba, and all the officials with you. Buenos dias, compatriots. And I'd like to recognize here the Deputy Ambassador of Cuba to South Africa, and indicate to you that we're extremely grateful that you are here to represent the Cuban Embassy. I recognize the Deputy Minister who has this habit of wanting to be anything other than a deputy minister. He parades as a program director all the time. I recognize here the staff of the Embassy of Cuba. I recognize here the heads of the water partners. I recognize our special guests, the minister's advisors, and especially I'd like to recognize the people who have come to assist us here. Compañeros, buenos tardes. And we welcome you here. We are so glad that you're here. And in time, you will have learned English, and we will have that young lady who was here speaking, the next internee will be speaking perfect Spanish. Ladies and gentlemen, Acting Director General and every other manager here recognized. We've come to a point that we've waited for a very long time, and I'm extremely excited we've come to this point. I have worked with the Cuban government for as long as I've been a minister. When I was Minister of Intelligence, we worked with the Cuban government And I went to Cuba with my delegation and to understand how they have been able to protect themselves in the blockade that they had lived under for so long. And I was there one day, and the following day, I was called away from a dinner, and I was told to take something like a sweet, and I took the sweet, and I felt a bit woozy after that. And I was told, we have unfortunate news for you, your father has passed away. And I'm all the way in Cuba, and I realized only afterwards that that pill was meant to ensure that I don't scream and do all of those things. So I remembered Cuba for a very long time with a very sad heart. That was a combination of extreme gratitude and an extremely difficult time in my life. We have been with the Cubans for as long as we have been fighting a struggle out of this country that has made it possible for us to be here as an independent country. We were trained by Cuban instructors. By the time we came back, the Cubans had been with us so long that some of our young children only spoke the Cuban language, which is Spanish. And we had to teach them Zulu, English, and everything else. One child is known to have come back and said, "No, I don't want to live here. I want to go home. My home is Cuba." And we had to explain to them that, look, those are our friends, but this is home. We worked with the Cuban government when I was Minister of Defense and had very good relations with Cuba. And I want to give you an example of the kind of skills the Cuban people have developed over a period of time. We wanted to donate to them some of our disused computers because we had no use for them, and we were about to throw them away. And they wanted to have a look at them. We took them to the storeroom. When they got to the storeroom, they took one. The following day, the computer worked better than the computer we had bought yesterday. That is the skill of the Cuban people, because they have been over a long time so self-reliant that they have skills that we could only imagine. And these are the skills that we've invited to assist us in a time of desperate need in the area of water. Last year, or 2 years ago, I had the advantage of going to, at the invitation of the Angolan government, to go to the commemoration of the support that we had had from the Cubans that made it possible for us to drive back the enemy then in Quito Carnaval. The Angolan government have built the most beautiful edifice as a memorial to the support that we as Africans who were fighting a colonial war, who were fighting for liberation, got from Cuba. I'd like you, before you go back home, when you're done with your stint here, to offer you a trip to Angola so that you can see that which turned the tide, a memorial of that which turned the tide in our favor. When we drove back, together with the Cubans at the forefront, drove back the armed forces of the South African government, the apartheid South African government. Cuba has lost more than 400 soldiers on the soil of this continent, fighting for our liberation, fighting so that you and I are here today running our own government. Our sincerest gratitude always to the Cuban people. I'd like you to give them a round of applause. I admire the Cuban people. When I was Minister of Defense, and we were looking after Madiba with deteriorating health, I went as Minister of Defense to Cuba, and I was received by the President of Cuba then, who told me that he was the longest living minister, former Minister of Defense, President Raul. And I indicated to him that we needed support because we knew of their specialist training in the field of medicine. And they supported us and made sure that in the last days that Madiba was with us, he was comfortable. Our sincerest gratitude for that. That is a symbol of our liberation, and we were glad that you were there to help us see him have an easy end to his life. When I was in Cuba to ask for this particular service from the Cuban President Raul, it happened to be an extremely special time for the Cuban people. It was the 50th anniversary of the blockade. And on that day, the Cubans come out in their droves to salute their president. The most spectacular, spectacular event. And I was there to experience that, and I thought, one day our country will get to this. And each battalion came of ordinary civilians saluting their President Raul, who was on the stadium. And at all times, everybody who was there stood still. You know, I keep changing my leg like this, and it doesn't happen in Cuba. That night, we were invited to a special meeting of the Communist Party, when Comrade Raul was taking over from Comrade Fidel Castro, and it was at the end of the conference. And the level of discipline was amazing. You could hear a pin drop in that particular conference. Yesterday, I watched on television as Comrade Raul took to the stage to say, I'm bowing out, but I will never leave the people of Cuba. I'm at the service of the people of Cuba for as long as I live, and I'll be at the service of the party for as long as I live. These are extraordinary people. A round of applause for the Cuban people. I could go on and on, but that is taking time from perhaps what we're here for. I did it deliberately to give you an insight, a personal insight into the Cuban people. Many people would have personal insights. The young lady who is here has a personal insight to respond to the South African people who are asking, why have we brought the Cuban engineers when South Africa has engineers? We've brought the Cuban engineers here because we have a long, fraternal, special relationship with the people of Cuba. The people of Cuba are always out there to help any developing country to the extent that they are able to do that. The people of Cuba have an amazing discipline. The people of Cuba have helped us in many spheres, in housing, in health, and in many areas where we have had successes. And we ask them to come because they have particular specialty in areas that we don't have specialty. And they're here today, and I specifically asked that we should see them so that I can say to them, each one of them, thank you so much for volunteering to be part of us. Thank you very much. Thank you very much for helping us turn the tide. We're in a difficult position in the area of water. We are becoming a very dry country. Just this morning, right up until I came here, we had a meeting with the President and his Presidential Infrastructure Coordinating Committee. This is a committee that helps coordinate the infrastructure efforts of this country. And the item on the agenda was water. Because water is a ticking time bomb for this country. You come at a time when we sorely need you. We come at a time when we would like to give our people hope that there is another way of doing things, and the Cubans can show that there is another way of doing things. We signed an agreement with the Cuban ambassador last year, I think, I'm not sure, a document that would indicate what it is, what support we would need from each other. And we had a very good time. And I am sorry that he's not here, he's not feeling well. I am hoping that the Deputy Ambassador will carry our good wishes to him and wish him a speedy recovery. But as I was discussing with the Deputy Ambassador, I indicated to her that I met an amazing man in Cuba, and I would like to host him while we're here. That man is the first black astronaut in the world, a Cuban astronaut. I would like him to come here so that we can show what is possible. I don't know if my children would have ever thought there would be a black astronaut, but we do have black astronauts, and that one black astronaut comes from Cuba. Another round of applause for the success of that country. We signed an agreement of cooperation with the Cuban ambassador, and we agreed on these matters, that we will cooperate in the following areas: the provision of geohydrological specialists and engineering services to the rural areas which are most in distress in our country, and other disadvantaged communities wherein the services are inadequate. Our rural areas are the most disadvantaged. When we took over this country, governing this country, one of the things that we should have done and did not have the foreknowledge of was that the infrastructure, essential infrastructure, water infrastructure in particular, did not extend to the rural areas because that was not part of the central part of South Africa. And 20 years down the line, our rural areas still suffer a shortage of water. We're sending our Cuban engineers to those most disadvantaged people there, and I am certain they'll be very grateful for every day that you spend with them. We agreed in our cooperation that the development of a sustainable approach will be used to have available water resources for everybody. We've just concluded with my advisors a blueprint for ourselves, a manifesto for water, and that manifesto has as its subtitle, Water for All. We would like to ensure that in the near future, we can actually say there is water for all in South Africa. And this will be possible when you get to the rural areas and you assist us there. We agreed to cooperate in the promotion and cooperation and the maintenance of water supply and sanitation infrastructure. You come to a country at a time when we have a crisis of maintenance, especially of our sanitation treatment plants. I hope that before you go to your areas of work, you will be taken to one of our biggest problems right now. It is in the Vaal. It is a water treatment plant that is causing havoc in the area where the people live, where sanitation flows onto the streets of the surrounding area and flows into the houses of the people nearby, so that you understand why it is that we need the help that you are providing us. We want you, in terms of our cooperation, to help us with the management of water resources as well as water supply systems. This morning's meeting with the President, we concluded that water was #1 priority right now to make sure that our people have this most essential element. We want you to assist us in the assessment and evaluation of design, research, and security of hydraulic infrastructure, such as main channels and bulk water projects. Our bulk water projects take the longest time, and Leonardo here has stopped picking up the phone because he knows I'm going to ask him how far are we in Guyana. He didn't pick up my phone this morning when the Minister of Finance asked me how far are we in Guyana, and I didn't have an answer, and I called Leonardo, and Leonardo, as usual, did not answer my phone call. It will come to an end, Leonardo. We will all be able to anticipate and when we will finish our big projects, and we'll be able to tell the Minister of Finance when the Guyana project will be completed, because he's very concerned about the escalation of costs in these projects as they continue. We agreed to cooperate in the area of strategic planning of the overall water resource, groundwater, surface water, and seawater. We also agreed on the technical exchange of programs so that we accelerate service delivery. In our country, when they talk of service delivery, they're normally talking of we have no water, we have no houses, all of those basic things for human life to make sense to anybody. I'm very glad that you're here. Thank you so much for taking time to come and help us out of our situation. You've helped us with our liberation struggle. We're a free people now. We want you now to take us through this last step and make sure that we're self-sustaining. Thank you so much, compañeros. And thank you to all of you.
Another round of applause. And thank you very much to Her Excellency Minister Sisulu.
I'm sorry to do this to you, Deputy Minister. I just wanted to say to our ambassador in Cuba, if you please could you please sit down and give me time to do this? Our sincerest condolences to you on the loss of your dear brother last year. We lost an outstanding soldier, an outstanding ambassador of South Africa when Mr. Ambassador Lennon Shop had died. Our sincerest condolences to you, my dearest sister. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Minister, in conveying our condolences to Her Excellency, our Ambassador. We have come to a point, colleagues, wherein there is a joint communique that has been concluded between the two countries, especially with respect to this cooperation that the Minister has eloquently spoken to. The joint communique will be signed by Her Excellencies Minister Sisulu and Deputy Ambassador Rebecca Hernandez on behalf of His Excellency the Ambassador, because His Excellency Comrade Antonio Rodriguez will not be able to sign virtually. We will take this opportunity that the team can just assist, that you bring the communique to the leadership so that we sign that particular communique. What will happen is that the communique that has been signed, it's always a protocol on international matters. Those are like heads of agreements, if it's the right with Minister Sisulu. But in principle, to say this is what we've agreed, despite all other supporting documents. After this document has been signed, the communique, will request the Acting Director General to come and read that communique, because we don't want this communique just to be signed and put under the tables. It's for public consumption in terms of demonstrating our solidarity. Let me request the teams and those that are taking pictures to come closer to the excellencies. We'll start with Comrade Minister Sisulu, the Minister of Human Settlements, Water and Sanitation, to sign the communique on behalf of the government and the people of the Republic of South Africa. And the communique is being exchanged. And Her Excellency, Deputy Ambassador Rebecca Hernandez will sign on behalf of the government of Cuba. We can give this signing of the communique a round of applause now. Thank you very much. I'll request the Acting Director General to just come and read the communique. I hope Deborah will also be able to read it in Spanish. You need to start to know the two languages.
The Program Director, Honorable Minister, Honorable Deputy Minister, the President of Cuba Hydraulic Institute, the Deputy Ambassador of Cuba to South Africa, our Ambassador in Cuba, Ms. Chope Lini, dear colleagues, all protocol observed. Good afternoon. Please give me your ear. This is a ceremony. We are celebrating a historic moment. History books are enhanced or embellished. Cuba and South Africa are collaborating and having a partnership on issues of life and dignity. Water is life, and sanitation is dignity. I will be reading a joint communique between South Africa and Cuba, and it reads thus. Joint communique of the Department of Water and Sanitation of the Republic of South Africa and the National Institute of Hydraulic Resources of the Republic of Cuba on bilateral cooperation in the field of water resources management and water supply, issued in Pretoria and Havana on 22 April 2021. Representatives of the Department of Water and Sanitation of the Republic of South Africa, DWS, and the National Institute of Hydraulic Resources of the Republic of Cuba, INRH, met virtually on the 22nd of April 2021 as part of the formal ceremony to welcome the Cuban experts to the South African water sector. The meeting was co-chaired by Honorable Lindiwe Sisulu, the Minister of Human Settlements, Water and Sanitation of South Africa, and Comrade Antonio Rodrigue, the President of the National Institute of Hydraulic Resources of Cuba. Both sides reiterated their commitment to continue strengthening the bilateral cooperation for mutual benefit on the basis of the agreement between the Government of the Republic of South Africa and the Government of the Republic of Cuba on cooperation in the fields of water resources management and water supply, signed on February 6, 2020 in Johannesburg. The agreement has ensured the continuity of the cooperation of water and sanitation between both nations that started in 2001. The DWS and the INRH emphasized the strengthening emphasized that strengthening the international cooperation in those fields is particularly important in the current international context, given the fact that the United Nations has identified the global water crisis as one of the greater challenges for humanity and declared the decade 2018 to 2028 as the International Decade for Action on Water for Sustainable Development. They highlighted and welcomed the progress made and the important achievements attained in their bilateral cooperation, including by the deployment in South Africa of highly qualified Cuban specialists, which are assisting as advisors at provincial, municipal, and local levels with the exploitation and efficient and sustainable use of water resources, maintenance and management of water supply, and sanitation infrastructure, and the strategic planning of those resources, particularly in rural and other disadvantaged communities. They also emphasized that capacity building, including through training courses in Cuba and South Africa, and the support to national, provincial, and local South African technical and professional staff, as well as the technical transfer, were at the heart of their bilateral cooperation on water and sanitation, which was described as a genuine example of South-to-South cooperation and a true expression of the historical legacy of the great leaders Nelson Mandela and Fidel Castro. They agreed to continue working together to ensure the success of the next South Africa-Cuba Steering Committee meeting, scheduled to be in September 2021 in Pretoria. Both sides expressed their satisfaction at the friendly and warm atmosphere during the meeting, which reflected the deep and special bonds of friendship, solidarity, and cooperation between the two states and peoples of the strategic partnership between South Africa and Cuba, as the two countries will celebrate on the 11th May 2021, 27 years of mutually beneficial diplomatic relations. This joint communique was signed simultaneously in the cities of Pretoria and Havana on 22 April 2021 in two originals in English and Spanish languages, both texts having equal validity. Honorable Program Director, thank you very much.
Thank you very much to the acting DG. That's how the communique reads, and it's in both languages. And in future, the acting DG will be able to fluently speak Spanish, and she will attend a course to that. At this point, we are coming towards the end, and our technicians, we can't see our comrades in Havana now. Yeah, don't deny us. We don't want to have a blackout. We're at a stage where Your Excellencies, Minister Sisulu and Comrade Antonio Rodriguez will just exchange gifts. They are being exchanged virtually. They will find a mechanism in the new normal of how those gifts are supposed to receive. Sislindi, support to Minister, to they will see virtually that there is something that Her Excellency Deputy Ambassador Hernandez will receive on behalf of the President of the Hydraulic Institute of Cuba, and equally so, the Deputy Ambassador will do that. We, Thank you very much, comrades. We can give a round of applause. Thank you very much to Your Excellencies, Comrade Ambassador and Comrade President that side. Well, Your Excellencies, Minister Sisulu, Minister of Human Settlement, Water and Sanitation, Your Excellency, Comrade Antonio Rodriguez, President of National Institute of Hydraulic Resources, Your Excellency, Vice President of the Institute, Comrade Vladimir Matos Moya, Your Excellency, Ambassador Tina Shope-Linley, our Ambassador to Cuba, Your Excellency, Deputy Ambassador Rebecca Hernandez, on behalf of the Cuban Embassy here, our experts and our friends and compatriots, and to all the advisors that are here, and the management and members of the media, we've come to an end of our program for today. And on behalf of Her Excellency, our Minister, want to thank you for being available for this engagement. It's time to actually put our shoulders into the wheel now. We need to start working. Leonardo, we have been given the capacity you need. You can't be complaining to Minister that you can't deploy people that will be able to do this work. And we'll want also to thank the staff from the ministry, including the DDG International Relations and Cooperation in the department, and the staff in the embassy for the good work you've been doing behind the scenes, including those that have been managing IT, that have been able to make this more feasible, that we can be able to connect. And also just to thank the staff for this area where we're using here in Pretoria for accommodating us today. I don't want to hold you long. There's traffic, but I'm told there's also refreshment, Sis Lindy. Before you leave, you will pass by, then you will be given refreshments, and please keep safe. Please keep safe. The pandemic is still around. While we have not received vaccination, please continue to wear your mask all the time. Keep your social distance. Wash your hands. Or if you can't, then sanitize. Those are some of the things that we need to continue to do until we bring this pandemic under control. Once again, I want to say thank you very much in Havana, the leadership there and comrades who are now allowing the leadership to take a leave of absence. We'll allow Minister Sisulu here and the Deputy Ambassador, Comrade Rebecca Hernandez, to take a leave of absence, and Comrade President Antonio Rodriguez and our Ambassador who are also giving you a leave of absence. You can take a departure now. Want to say thank you very much. Let's allow the minister to leave. And let's give ourselves a round of applause for this excellent welcoming ceremony. Ke a leboga.